To read your email, click on it, and you'll be brought into the body of the email. At the bottom of every email, there's two options. The first one is Gmail giving you 3 choices of a reply based on context that it got in the email that was sent to you. These 3 canned responses will change based on the subject line. You can choose a quick response by clicking on it, and it won't automatically send. You can click on it and still add more to the email. If you don't want to use these, you can click Reply and start typing your regular reply anyway. I can either choose to send the message or send the message directly to my archive. We'll be talking about that later. Off it goes. I'm glad I'm back in my inbox because I want to explain a little bit more about how conversation threads work in Gmail. Conversation threads are a major part of Gmail. Let's look at this email here. It's a conversation thread, meaning it's a long conversation of replies between people. Gmail has grouped it together so we can easily follow the conversation. In fact, all of my replies are here as well. I know it's a conversation thread because of this number here next to the recipients. This is telling me that there are 10 emails in this conversation. I'll click inside it, and I can see the date that this conversation started right here in the email. Gmail places conversations from the earliest all the way down to the latest responses at the bottom. To respond to the entire conversation at once, I can scroll all the way down to the bottom and click Reply. It's going to reply to the last person that sent me an email. Now, I could start typing and I can hit send or send an archive just like any other email. But for now, I'm going to click the trash can icon on the bottom right-hand side because there's some more things I want to show you. I can also click Reply All to reply to everybody that's involved in the email. And I can also add more people at any time by clicking the mouse right next to the email addresses and adding more. I'll click the trash can icon again because I want to talk about these 3 dots right here. The person that we add to the conversation isn't just going to be added to my new reply. They're going to be added to every single thread in that conversation. Clicking on these 3 dots will show you everything that that person is going to see. Here is a summed up view of the entire conversation thread. So when I scroll to the bottom and click Reply All, click inside the To field and add somebody new, they're going to see that entire thread's worth of messages. Now instead of clicking Reply or Reply to All, I could also click Forward. Forward will send the entire conversation to somebody else without actually including them in the conversation. Now, I did tell you that the earliest was on the top and the latest was on the bottom, but in between, there's a whole slew of messages that you can also work with individually. To work with any message individually and not just the last one, you can click inside that email that you want to work with. I'll click on this number, and it's going to expand everything, and I can click right inside this email. Maybe I just want to reply to this email here. On the right-hand side, I can click the 3 dots next to it, and here I can do more things. For example, I can reply all, I can forward, and I could print or delete this message. We'll be talking about those later. The last thing I want to show you is how to start a brand new thread. Sometimes these emails get a little long and a little unruly, and it's best to just branch it out into a new conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and click Reply All the way down at the bottom. However, instead of typing my response, I'm going to click the down arrow next to these 2 arrows. From here, I'll choose to edit subject. It's going to pop out into a new email that looks similar to the one when you click the Compose button. And now you'll see that the subject line is blue. I can type a brand new subject. Now, the subject line is what it uses to group this into a conversation thread. So if I create a new subject, new thread. I can also add more text to the message body. I'll click the send button. And now it will start a brand new conversation thread. If somebody replies to that email I just sent, it's not going to be attached to this conversation anymore. It's going to go into my inbox as a brand new thread because I changed the subject line. If you don't like using conversation threads, you can turn them off. On the top right-hand side of the screen, click the gear icon. All the way down at the bottom, you can uncheck Conversation View. It's telling me the Gmail needs to reload. I'll click the Reload button. And now you'll see that every one of my emails are individual emails, and they aren't in conversation threads anymore.